Hello everybody, this is Kyrix with This Week in Kyrix for the week of Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. And this one's on time. This is actually being recorded on the day I said. So I literally just, not even 2 minutes ago, ended the recording for last week's Twic and just named it and all this other shit, so here we are. As the episode description says, I've been more or less in quarantine. I haven't quarantined the way I'm supposed to, which is to say, actually be quarantined, because I know damn well, and I could have told them at work, that I don't have COVID. I basically have this unfortunate habit of eating like a child whenever I have money, because I spend so much time on the verge of starvation for various reasons. And don't feel bad. Some of it's because I don't have money, and some of it is because I just do not know how to take care of myself. You know, I do not feed myself properly and all that other fun shit. So, yeah. And as a result, whenever I do get access to food, I tend to gorge myself. And when I have access to money for food, as in my food stamps come in, I will buy all sorts of things. Sometimes I'll spend a bunch of money on snacks. Sometimes I'll spend a bunch of money on big-ass meals that will last me a week and a half. You know, it all depends on how responsible I'm feeling at the time. And, so I haven't been quarantining quite properly, but I did get to go back to the movies, finally. I went twice and saw 2 movies this week, and both were pretty good. One was called Infidel, and first off, it says inspired by true events. It's not based on a true story. It's basically a lot of shit that happened, you know, like, hey, some shit like this happened, and some shit like this happened, and some shit like this happened. I'm gonna glue these things together and make a big story out of it. You know? That's what you're looking at for Infidel. So, don't get too feisty about that. And the movie is, in many ways, very predictable. Like, you can guess certain things are going to happen. And while I did enjoy the movie, I'm not going to lie, the characters are fucking stupid in many cases. The wife was probably the most consistently intelligent person in the entire movie. For those who don't know, the start of the movie basically takes place, well, not the start, but the thing that starts the movie for real, is in Egypt, which, as far as I know, is an Islamic theocracy. And if it's not a full-on theocracy, Islam is definitely the religion of power there. You know what I mean? Kind of like, if you go to Rome, you can expect to see some Christian symbols. You know what I mean? You go to the fucking Vatican City, you're not gonna find a lot of non-Christian things. And the main character is a Christian blogger. And he basically works at a software company with a Muslim who keeps, you know, jokingly referring to him as my infidel friend, etc. You know, and on the surface, it really does seem like a friendship. But the guy, you can tell there's something not right about the guy. Just that he acts like he's modernized, but he just has that undercurrent of, no, he's just hardcore Islamic. You know? And did I hear a bird? Like, you should be afraid bird. No, I didn't. Oh, hi. Get the fuck out of here. So anyway, his wife and his daughter, specifically, is having her graduation. And, you know, the blogger's wife decides she's gonna get her some shit she's not supposed to have. It's never really specified what it is, but it is heavily implied that it's something her father would not approve of, and possibly her mother, you know. And she is implied to be dating this guy that her father does not fucking approve of. So it zooms in, you know, to the Christian couple, or not Christian couple. The wife is not Christian. That is a plot point. But yeah, the Christian vlogger's house, and I can't remember the guy's name. I really can't remember any of their names, to be honest. But anyway, she gets a call from the Muslim's wife, basically saying, "Is my daughter over there?" It's like, "No, why would she be here?" It's like, "Oh, her boyfriend was supposed to drop her off like 2 hours ago, and we haven't seen her." And she's like, "My husband won't let me call the police." And the woman's like, "Oh, don't worry, she'll be back, etc., etc." Well, she calls back later, basically saying, "Yeah, she's still not back. Will you call the police for me?" And she does, you know. They all like the girl. She was worried, so she calls the police on the woman's behalf. And it turns out what had happened was the father had kidnapped his own daughter, brought her in the basement, laid out some stuff, specifically like some tools and a tarp, you know, the kind of tarp you would hide blood with. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, so he's going to kill the boyfriend. No, he's going to honor kill his daughter. And the police get called, and naturally they search the house. You need to get out of here, Rhino. So yeah, they search the house, and they find all sorts of terrorist propaganda shit. Like, they find stuff for recruitment videos and flags, and I'm not good with flags. It could have been the Iranian flag because he was Iranian. It could have been some sort of Islamic Nation flag because I know they have those. I'm just not up on my flag stuff enough to know what kind of flag it was. But basically, it's pretty clear looking at this shit that, oh, we found a bad guy, you know? And then, like a week later, the Muslim friend who he works with is like, hey, you should go to this conference in Egypt. And they're talking, I don't know what it's about, but it's basically they wanted to talk about his side a little bit, and, you know, the stuff that makes them similar. You guys are drinking dirt. But anyway, he goes there, and this is the first moment of, oh my god, he's too stupid to live. Now, remember, we're talking about a place that, if not a full-on theocracy, is close enough. And something you have to keep in mind, even if you're more liberal-minded on the subject, Islam doesn't take well to contradiction or criticism when it's in power. It just doesn't. And the man who is hosting the event, or at least who is playing the part of the host, because it's like a university or something, is trying to bridge the gap and, you know, like, hey, we Muslims and Christians don't have to be enemies. We have a lot in common. Like, you love Jesus, Muslims love Jesus, etc. He's a big prophet in our religion. And the smart thing to do would be to grab that and just fucking let it go. Just run with it. Like, yes, see, there are points where we can come together as a people, etc. We do have some common beliefs, some common goals. And he doesn't do that. He decides, nope, don't you do that. He decides that he's going to try to convert these Muslims to Christianity. And in my reclining seat, in my reclining seat at the theater, I facepalm. And I can hear the people behind me doing something similar, like, you son of a, or like, you dumb bitch, you know? Because, I'm sorry, that was a really dumb bitch thing to do. You do not start that kind of fight that doesn't need to be fought. And, you know, as he's going back to his hotel, these three guys, just kind of come up and kind of start shit a little bit. And they follow him all the way back to his hotel, and he quickly slams the door and locks it. And he calls his wife, and later on, they bust in and fucking roll him up in a rug and walk off with him. And that's... The rest of the movie is him just... his wife trying to get him out of trouble, him being moved from place to place, and tortured in various ways. Sometimes it's psychological, sometimes they flat out fucking beat him, but it's not a good day for him. It's not a good month for him. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it doesn't end the way it starts, because it's one of those in media res things. I think that's how you pronounce it. Motherfucker, I need my stick! Where it starts off in the middle of a thing, which is a feature that I have quickly grown to hate. I think it's really lazy. It's a really lazy fucking way to build suspense. Like, oh, he's gonna be shot by a firing squad! Oh no! You know? And if that's the end of the movie, then we know, oh, this isn't gonna work out for him. And if it's not the end of the movie, depending on how much you're watching the clock, you know, oh, he's gonna be fine, you know? It's really cheap, it's really lazy, and they need to stop doing it. That was my biggest complaint about the Tomb Raider games, the new Tomb Raider games, is that they all fucking start that way. But anyway, it's a good movie. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. It's not a great movie. It is... I don't know if I could call it a propaganda movie or not. It's not like the Pure Flix Christian propaganda movies, because once it gets to about the halfway point, the whole narrative of Christianity under attack gets dropped rather quickly. I mean, you will run into several, you know, I want to say they're in Iran, so Iranian Christians will pop up, and they are very much the good guys in the story. But there are also, notably, at least one guy who is a Muslim, who's at the meeting saying, look, I'm a Muslim, and I'm working at this prison your husband's at, and I do not agree with this. This is not my religion. You know, I'm going to help you. I'm going to put myself at risk to help you because this isn't right. So, it's not even that, and there are several characters in there that are Muslim that are portrayed as good people. You know, like the mother and the daughter, for example. Although the daughter was questionably Islamic. She was very westernized, so you could make the argument that she wasn't very Muslim at all. That she was more of a Western girl. And that's a fair argument to make. This is actually kind of nice. I don't know if I'll nest here, though. But, yeah, so it's... And it's not even necessarily... you could make the argument and be accurate. You could make the argument that it's an anti-Islam movie, but I don't think it is that either. Because it's not even the fact that it's like, oh, these people are Muslims, therefore they're bad. It's just, these people are fanatics and they're bad, and this is what can happen in a theocracy, you know, where the government takes a backseat to the religion. You could have just as easily had this as Jews in a Christian land, and it would have been the same fucking movie. You know. So I don't think that's really the story either, but it is worth a watch. The other movie I saw was New Mutants, which I had been aware of for a while, and I didn't realize that it had been on hiatus forever. That there were actually jokes made about the fact that it wasn't likely to get released, etc. Oh, I passed my marker. And, I have very little background in the New Mutants themselves. Like, I know them. I was able to spot everyone except, Ricardo right off the bat, like, oh, this is Ileana. I'm like, oh, that's Magic. This is Rain. Oh, Wolfsbane. This is Danny Moonstar. That's Mirage, although I couldn't remember her code name until I got home and looked it up. But I knew who Moonstone was. I'm like, this is, Sam Guthrie. I'm like, oh, Cannonball. The one I couldn't get was, Ricardo, Sunspot. I couldn't remember if he was Sunspot or Magma at first. I'm like, no, Magma's a girl. And then I'm like, wait, is he Richter? So yeah, it turns out Sunspot. Oh, that's a lot of fucking Sabercats. Don't you do it. Fuck out of here, Sabercats. I don't need any meat right now. But, the movie... Now... I'm going to compare it to all the superhero movies, like the DC, the Marvel, and the miscellaneous, like the Fox and the Sony. As a Marvel property, I'm going to call it a Marvel movie, even though it's something separate. in comparison to all the other Marvel movies, and I'm not just talking MCU, I'm talking shit like Daredevil and Elektra as well. The shit that was released before Iron Man. I think it is probably the least action-heavy of all of them, but probably has the densest story. Because it is all about getting to know your characters. And for the most part, the characters are great. If you're a fan of magic, that is Ilyana Rasputin, don't watch the movie. She's an unconscionable bitch. She is an absolute hateful bitch in this movie. Because apparently she had her traits, like her mean traits, in the comics. Again, didn't really read New Mutants. I'm more familiar with them as X-Force than New Mutants, and that came later. But as I understand it, she was never this mean. Like, she's an outright bully in this movie. And she is... We're talking like Bakugo levels of just being a bitch. Like, a couple times she tries to flat out kill Moonstar. And I didn't even mean like accidentally. I mean, she outright draws her magical sword and goes to cut her fucking head off. She is not nice people in this movie. So. But aside from her, everyone else is interesting and cool. Cannonball's great. Rain, really great, you know. Sunspot comes off as a colossal dick. Turns out, actually a pretty cool guy. You know, why? Okay, now everybody's got the rocks. I think this is safe to drink. We're gonna assume this is safe to drink. Yeah, all in all, not a bad movie. Not a great movie. Again, it's very low on action until the very end of the movie. And, if you do not get invested in the characters, you're not going to like the movie. I happen to... Motherfucker, stop! Okay. I happen to have been invested in the characters because I like it. I've always liked the teen groups. Like, I like the Runaways, the Young Avengers, you know, that kind of shit. The new X-Men, the new, X-Men Academy, the Avengers Academy, those kind of things. Those are... I don't know why, but I've always liked those groups. Let's get over here and eat. So yeah, that brings us to the big one here, which is what have I been up to lately? Star Wars Squadrons finally came out. Oh, my monkey is high. Oh, we're all eating mushrooms. Cool. Every monkey do mushrooms. So yeah, Squadrons came out, and I marathoned it. I already have the Let's Play fully recorded. I've got to transfer over the computer, convert the file size so that it's something more manageable, and then we're good to go. You know, it's done. I just got to upload it, pick a day, that kind of shit. But yeah, I marathoned the entire story mode in about, let's say, 36 hours or less. So, I didn't even turn it off. Like, once the first recording failed because it crashed and reset my whole thing. But once the second attempt started, I recorded the whole thing start to finish without ever turning off the game. Didn't turn off the game, didn't exit out of it. All I did was move to the PlayStation 4 menu to rename the files, and that was it. So I literally marathoned the game. It's a very good game. I've actually been playing it recreationally in single-player mode. Actually a little frustrating. I kind of wish I'd played the story mode on my own file, because now to unlock some shit I have to play it again on my file. because my Let's Play file is the one I record, or that I recorded the story mode on, and there's a couple skins. It's not a huge priority because the skins are for the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing, and I don't fly a TIE Fighter or X-Wing, I fly a Y-Wing, a U-Wing, or a TIE Reaper. And yes, I specifically said a U-Wing or a Y-Wing, but I do not have any mention of the TIE Bomber. Because I don't fly a TIE Bomber, because the thing that makes the Y-Wing so good is its frigging shields, which the TIE Bomber utterly lacks. So, yeah. TIE Bomber isn't in my arsenal. Turns out, I actually enjoy flying the support ships, the U-Wing and the Reaper. Which is good, because that's actually the main thing I bought the game to do. I mean, even if the U-Wing and the Reaper sucked and I was bad at flying them, I still would have bought the game because I like squadron games. Like, I wish on Battlefront 2, the new one, that I could just pick, hey, I want to be the clone, or I want to be the Grand Army of the Republic, and I want to fly all of these battles only, and I just get in my Y-Wing and just tear shit up. You know? But, what are you doing over here, buddy? I'm scared and lost. Oh, that's the one I selected. We're gonna go around this way. But, as it turns out, not only are they good, I'm really good in them. Like, it's very hard to get feedback on that because not a lot of people do voice. A distressing amount of people do not do voice of any kind. But I just, like an hour or two ago, did a team match. Yeah, I did a team match where we played Imperials on Fleet Battle, and basically got it confirmed that I am actually a really good support player. Like, at one point, they basically said, yeah, the only reason we're not dead right now is that you're keeping us in the fight. So, hey, anyone on PS4? leave a message in the comments if you play Squadrons on PS4 and you're looking for a really good support team player, because I am that person. I will go pure support. Like, I will almost never fire on the enemy, but god damn it, I will keep your shields up and your hull patched. And I am such a dedicated support flyer that I will not evade my own destruction. Like, if I'm getting gunned down, and if I'm getting gunned down and I can get a heal off before they blow me up, if I stay on target, then I will stay on target and get that heal off and then blow up. You know? Matter of fact, at one point, I actually did get shot down after I got the heal off. And I'm like, well, at least they shot me and not you. And they're like, yeah. Because, like I said, I'm expendable. I'm keeping my guys in the air, but the guys are the ones doing the damage. If I don't blow up, that's great, but I'm also contributing almost nothing to the fight. Like, I'm not shooting down any fighters. I'm not assaulting the frigates. I'm not assaulting the cap ship. At best, if the Corvette's nearby, I'll take shots at it. You know, that is the limit to my firing. Or if I'm behind someone trying to heal them and I see they've got a ship behind them, since I'm already falling behind anyway, I may as well take shots where I can. But, so yeah, like I said, anyone play Squadrons on PS4? If you play, you need teammates, let me know in the comments. I will find a way to get you my screen name so you can add me, and I'll team up with you. You know, I want people who will team up on voice and get shit done. Because it is a source of eternal frustration to me that none of my teammates knows how to cooperate. Because if they did, we'd win a lot more matches. You know? Even simple shit, comparatively simple shit, like me throwing a shield and a heal on someone, only for them to go into the ship's hangar and swap their ships, which means that they didn't need my heal, and my shields just went to waste, you know? So, yeah. And given that the shields take like 15 to 16 seconds to cool down, that can hurt us in the long run, because that's a shield I could have given to someone who was going to stay in the fight. You know what I mean? And it's just as simple as them knowing, hey, this guy in the TIE Reaper is going to heal me, I'm going to let him do his thing, you know? Because if you're aware of that simple fact, then you know enough to know that, hey, I got your back. You do your thing, let me worry about your hull. That kind of thing. And I don't actually have a lot of experience flying the U-Wing, because in dogfights I fly my bomber, and in fleet battles I fly support, and I never get New Republic fleet battles, I always get Empire fleet battles. And I have no idea why. It's actually been a source of a problem for me, because for the longest time I only had upgrades in my New Republic ships. I had nothing for the Empire, and I realized that as I was queuing for a fleet battle and ended up getting Empire, that, oh my god, I'm flying vanilla ships because I never upgraded my Imperial stuff. Needless to say, my next level up when I got some requisitions, I started buffing my Reaper. And you will often hear me delay before I say Reaper. It's because I'm starting to say Mauler, because there's a tank called the TIE Mauler, and that's a ship I'm familiar with, a vehicle rather. Whereas the TIE Reaper, to me, is completely new. It's canonical, but it's something I don't really run into, and if I have seen it, I've never heard it referred to as that. So I don't think of it. Alright, so we're gonna set up shop here. It's nice and elevated. I don't think the Saber Cats are particularly able to get me up here, but I could be wrong. I mean, I've seen them get into some weird places. But yeah, Squadrons is a great game. I'm reasonably good at it. And I play really good support. Which is actually, like I said, that's the whole reason I want to do that. That's the thing with me. In squad games like this, whether they're on the ground or in the air, although I'm more likely to do flying ones than I am ground ones, like I'm a horrible shot, but in certain things like Transformers, I'll do it. I tend to play support because I'm really good at it. Since I know I can't really contribute much in the kills department, most of the time, I make up for it by contributing, keeping people who are good at kills in the fight. It's kind of my thing. Also, should I be worried that this still hurts even like 2 or 3 weeks later? Because it still hurts 2 or 3 weeks later. So anyway, if all goes well, I will reasonably shortly be back at work, earning my check like you do. I might actually get paid a little bit tomorrow, like $35. The good news for me is I did get my first check of the month just fine, and all of my bills, my heavy stuff, is front-loaded. So that's taken care of. The downside is I'm going to be very delayed paying rent until, like, the last check of the month. So that's gonna suck a bit of a dong. But, hey, it is what it is. So that's a save point. We're going to actually stop here. Give you 2 short episodes instead of 1 long one. See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.